Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Hello, what is going on and how y'all doing tonight? Well, today it's still Saturday afternoon. This is the Club of the Man 1993. You'll have to excuse me. I know I sound a little off, but I don't feel off. Just sound off. But I'm fine. My wife's, of course, getting over being sick. So I'm hoping I don't catch whatever she had. But, I just sound a little off, just drinking my fluids, and I should be fine. But I'm here really quickly to briefly talk about last night's episode of SmackDown, the February 16, 2023 edition. We were in Salt Lake City, Utah. Of course, after SmackDown, there were recordings for next week's SmackDown, as WWE will be in Perth next Friday, as next Saturday is the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in Perth, Australia. My overall thoughts on this episode of SmackDown, very similar to how I felt to Raw. It was a one segment show with qualifying matches. The qualifying matches on this show weren't really... Something was off in a few of the matches, I thought, in my opinion. And everything else, we did get... SmackDown officially did sign Bron Breakker to a contract. We also had, of course, a tease of they're still negotiating with Jade Cargill, who is officially listed as an official WWE superstar. My honest prediction, I think when they have this second chance battle royale on Raw on Monday, even though I think they're having superstars that didn't compete get a first shot compete in it, which that I don't understand at all, the idea behind that. I do think Jade is going to win that and be in the chamber match next Saturday in Perth. Like I said, everything else was just there. Chamber feels like it's going to be a solid wrestling show, but storyline-wise, it's kind of filler. It's kind of just like the main things it's doing is just giving a match for Seth Rollins, for the other world champions, for both the men and women, who don't have opponents. And not much really else is happening as well. We are getting a Grayson Waller effect with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. But, it'll be solid when it happens, but I don't think it's going to be like a show of the year. But we could get some more setup from the chamber matches for sure. And the other thing too that I still find very, very odd, spoiler alert, I said before that I was okay with SmackDown superstars being in this chamber match for a Raw branded title. Since, it's not like last year. They have the draft. They initiate this title for the Raw brand, yet they have SmackDown superstars competing for it. The chamber, same with, kind of feels like it should have the same vibe as Rumble. Of course, I know it's whoever did not get picked for the Rumble winner, but I still think that it's okay to have the chamber match have Raw and SmackDown superstars. Again, the women's chamber, even though, again, the second chance battle royal is not an official, second chance, because, again, it looks like they're having stars who weren't in the original matches compete in it as well. At least they did Raw Superstars face Raw Superstars and SmackDown Superstars face SmackDown Superstars. Well, after last night, everyone in the men's chamber match is a SmackDown Superstar except Drew McIntyre. I don't get why they couldn't just do Raw Superstars versus SmackDown Superstars. I mean, the Raw Superstars take on Raw Superstars, and SmackDown Superstars take on SmackDown Superstars. Unless they thought they needed some fresh matchups or something, I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, the most noteworthy thing for sure about this episode of SmackDown is for sure the ending segment with The Rock and Roman Reigns. And how The Rock is officially declared himself a member of the Bloodline. Let's roll into it, talk about it really quick, and then we are going to get out of here. And I do have a couple other things around the house I'm trying to do. I'm going to try tonight, depending on how I'm feeling, to make up that live stream I want to do on Thursday involving Patrick Clark. I will hopefully be doing that tonight. We roll in. The show started off with a chamber qualifying match. Kevin Owens versus Dominik Mysterio. Before the match, Dominik was trying to cut a promo saying how Judgment Day will dominate Chamber with Rhea retaining and the tag titles will be retained as well, and he will get into the qualifying match and face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Well, psych! Because R-Truth got involved, and of course he was still calling Kevin Owens Miz. Even though The Miz was on the show, yet R-Truth didn't actually interact with him later on in the show. Honestly, out of the 3 qualifying matches, this is probably the one that was a little more passable, I'd say, than the rest. I say, not saying much, but this was probably the best out of the 3, I thought, because of R-Truth's involvement as well. And at first, like, he was going to cost Owens the match, but he ended up costing Dominik the match at the end because Dominik had asked him towards the end of the match to get a steel chair. And he says, "You're in Judgment Day. Give me a steel chair." He goes and grabs a chair, but instead of giving it to Dom, he just sets it up and he sits down and watches Dom get powerbombed by Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens wins to qualify for a chamber with a pop-up powerbomb. So both Kevin Owens and, well, later tonight, Logan Paul did win his match, are both in the chamber. It still feels like there's some unfinished business between the two of them, which is why I'm still wondering if they're going to do Kevin Owens and Logan Paul again at Mania, and they'll do LA Knight versus AJ Styles. They've been teasing a feud with them for so long, which I don't like. I'm sorry. I mean, if they want to do one more match with Owens and Paul, I mean, Logan wrestled on SmackDown tonight. Why not give him another shot on SmackDown to wrestle Owens? Because the match to do WrestleMania for sure for the U.S. title is Logan Paul and LA Knight. And I'm hoping they set that up in the chamber, but they still kind of have some unfinished business with LA Knight and AJ Styles. So where to go with that, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But Kevin Owens is in the chamber. Drew McIntyre was being interviewed backstage before he got interrupted by LA Knight, and they kind of had like a back and forth promo, which they actually had pretty good chemistry, with the promos. And they apparently will have a match on SmackDown next week's show. Of course, that was taped after SmackDown, as I said before. We have British Strong Styles, Tyler Bate, and Pete Dunne backstage being interviewed. And Dunne says everything's been going great, and all that's left for them to do is walk into Perth and leave with the tag titles. Bates says they're due for a new tag team name, and he pitches the New Catch Republic. Before, of course, Pete gives an answer, Dominik Mysterio interrupts him, and it sets up for a match between the Bate and Dunne and Dom and JD for SmackDown next week. Okay, I don't know. Well, again, I'm still at times, even though I'm saying I'm okay with this, but then I'm not okay with this, but that's whatever match for me. I'm not going to lose sleep over Raw Superstars on SmackDown like that, especially since they're part of the tag champions. Well, actually, originally, they actually said, why don't we face you and R-Truth? But then, of course, they're like, oh yeah, right, Truth and Judgment Day. So I guess it'll have to be JD then. Tiffany Stratton then took on Zelina Vega again. Something was just a little bit off in this match. Most of the time, they were teasing LWO and Legado del Fantasma going at it. I know Vega did briefly get into a thing with Electro Lopez, which, based off of that incident, Tiffany Stratton was able to turn around to a spine buster and hit the prettiest moonsault ever. So she's qualifying for the chamber match as well. We also have a backstage segment with Carl Anderson picking a fight with AJ Styles, saying, like, what's going on? Are you forgetting who you are and what you stand for? And then Styles raised up, and he's about to brawl with Carl, which was kind of a good thing. I was kind of like, have we seen these two go at it before? Carl Anderson, AJ Styles? I always thought Carl had some interesting singles potential, so that would be a bad match to do if they're still, figuring out what they're doing with the OC and AJ Styles here. But anyways, of course, they broke them apart, and then we got sent to break. We also got the 3 members of Damage Control now, because I guess it's not official what's going on with Dakota Kai. Well, it seems as of now, Dakota's with Bayley. I'm not 100% convinced yet, though, which is why I haven't done a turn alert for Dakota. But anyways, the 3 Japanese champions of Io Sky, Kairi Sane, and Asuka, talking about how Bayley might think herself is responsible for her success, but she's wrong, and she's going to be embarrassed at WrestleMania. And then Dakota will also face consequences for turning on them, which again, has she officially done? I'm still not convinced. Authors of Pain then squashed Javier Bernal and Bo Morris from NXT. Logan Paul had a backstage interview, which led to him saying we should get hashtag We Want Logan or something like that trending on Twitter. And my wife stole my phone and tweeted that because she knows I dislike Logan Paul, but she did it anyways because she likes to be funny. Speaking of which, Logan Paul and The Miz had a qualifying match, which it was okay. I don't know if it's just because, it felt super toned down because we've seen these two have a match at SummerSlam in 2022, which, if it weren't for Roman and Brock last man standing with a tractor involved, may have stolen the show, but I don't know. And this one, again, I don't know if they were just holding back, but it just seemed a little bit off. Logan, though, does win as expected. He will be the last member of the Chamber. Like I said, hoping that's setting up him in LA Night at Mania. But I'm starting to wonder if they really are going to do him and Kevin Owens again. I don't know. I have to wait and see. We also have a backstage where Nick Aldis is talking business with Jade Cargill and Braun Breaker. Tiffany Stratton walked in as for some reason Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan are both there. And Stratton starts talking trash about Chamber to both of them. And then Jade gets over and says, hey, you don't interrupt me during my contract signing. And then Tiffany leaves, but then Braun and Aldis leave together. And later in the show, it was announced that Braun Breaker has indeed signed with SmackDown, even though he is still currently NXT Tag Team Champion with Baron Corbin. But he will be making his SmackDown debut next week. About time he's on the main roster, but we'll see what happens since he's still tag champs with Corbin. And we'll go from there. We also got the final, the final qualifying match for this week's show, which was Naomi versus Alba Fyre. Now, this is supposed to be Naomi versus Shotzi, but Shotzi got hurt. Also, they did change Naomi's theme song, which I'm not a fan of it. I'm sorry. Her old one, I'm a May, yay. See? I mean, first off, it was not like a generic sound. It was a remix of another awesome song she had before. And yes, it kind of kept her, glow entrance, but this just feels so, generic and basic. It's just, bleh. But she took on Alba Fyre. Is it just me, or does it just doesn't seem like they have the faith in Alba Fyre right now? I'm wondering at this point if it's just maybe the gimmick. They have her and Isla Dawn together as the unholy union. I think Isla's still hurt. I'm not sure. I think she did take some bumps or tried to distract Naomi in this match a little bit. But something was off. And I know also, like, back when she was Kaylee Ray and she was the longest reigning NXT UK Women's Tag Team Champion, I gotta say I thought it was a little bit overrated. I still think she was good, though, but I think maybe it's just the gimmick that's just leaving a sour taste in my mouth. Because she just... It doesn't feel like they're really investing much in the Unholy Union right now. Or the fact that they're not really investing in Alba Fyre. Like I said, I just make her Kaylee Ray again and get her away from Isla Dawn. Like this gimmick I feel like would work for an Isla Dawn. But Kaylee Ray, I don't think so. Naomi wins, and like I said, it was kind of a sloppy match, but Naomi wins, and again, we'll see who gets in with the second chance Battle Royale this coming Monday on Raw. Dakota Kai and Bayley have a backstage segment where Bayley says she saw what they said and she appreciates what Dakota did last week, but she still don't know if she can trust Dakota. And she says she can't know who she can trust right now. So again, like, it seems that Dakota's with Bayley, but I'm not 100% convinced yet, which is why I'm still not doing a turn alert yet. Okay, this is when Bron Breakker is introduced as the newest member of SmackDown. And then we get the closing segment with the Bloodline. Roman Reigns, of course, everybody but The Rock comes out first. Roman Reigns tells Salt Lake City to acknowledge him. And he wants to be honest and says, you people are idiots. Collectively, not individually. He doesn't want them to ruin this with chance when his cousin comes out. Tonight's about history. The first thing they'll be able to say that The Rock is a member of the Bloodline. So The Rock comes out. And The Rock comes out in like some throwback to his corporate attire and whatnot. The sunglasses, the vest. Look good. He says before he drops the gospel, he's got good news. Some that'll make us happy. And as the crowd has broke an indoor attendance record for not just Salt Lake City, but for the entire state of Utah. And they broke it for the largest gathering at Trailer Park Trash The Rock has ever seen. Now, if you like that, you'll like this more. They'll have a story to tell their 50 wives and 600 inbred grandchildren about what it's like to see greatness in the flesh, because finally, The Rock has come back to Salt Lake City. This side of The Rock hasn't been around in a while, but he's always been there. And he threatens to slap the herpes off the lips of a fatty in the crowd to prove it. And he says he had the greatest reign of WrestleMania in our hands, and we let it go. Because Cody apparently needed to finish his story. But then he asked a very interesting question. And this is one of those moments where I'm like, you're putting someone on a pedestal. Putting him in the hot seat. And this was The Rock putting him in the hot seat. And although, of course, the literally ironic part is Cody did earn this rematch because he did win the Royal Rumble. But he asked us this question. He asked us, what exactly is Cody's story? Roman beat him last year. Cody lost, but now he wants a rematch? That's all the story is? That's not how it works. That's not like the 49ers just losing the Super Bowl, and instead of asking about the story, they dust it off and move on like men. Everyone in this arena, city, and entire state should understand it's personal, and you don't get to end the story just because you want it. And you'd understand that if you weren't a little crybaby bitches, and Rock's will do everything in his power to make sure Cody walks out of WrestleMania a loser. His story is ending. But the Bloodline story, as the most dominant duo in all of sports entertainment, is just beginning. And he goes to do his ending with the "if you smell," but then he cuts off and says they don't sing along with The Rock anymore. So instead he asks if you smell what the Bloodline is cooking. And then The Rock threw up the one with the rest of the Bloodline, and we went off the air. So, again, I know there's the little continuity error there of yes, I get what he's saying. What exactly is Cody's story? Of all people who have followed the Roman, why is it him that needs to be the one to finish. And to me, I feel like, that kind of thing where these veterans cut this great promo and put someone on like a pedestal. Like they put them in the hot seat. Like you had with John Cena with Austin Theory last year. Austin Theory did, of course, counter back well. But this is how it is now with The Rock and Cody Rhodes. That they're still seemingly teasing a tag match with Roman, Rock versus Cody and Seth. Now, I'm still starting to believe more and more may happen at WrestleMania Night 1. Had Seth not been hurt, it would have been definitely happening at Chamber. Instead of the Grayson Waller effect. But that's what that could set up. But we'll have to wait and see. And that's SmackDown, guys. Again, not much to say. We have our answers to our qualifying matches. Again, it's so weird that all the men are SmackDown stars except for one Raw star. Which, either way, it's very obvious that Drew's probably going to win that. I still think Becky most likely for the women's chamber match, even though I'm not going to rule out like Liv Morgan, for example. But yeah, even the matches, especially that Naomi and Alba Fyre match, something was a bit off, I thought. But that's SmackDown. I gave it a C+. I was leaning towards B-. I came out feeling the same way, like I said. With the match quality kind of being a little off, that's when I was kind of like, yeah. So, you know how it is. That does it, guys. What are your thoughts on SmackDown? Your thoughts down in the comment section below. And also be sure, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content to come on my channel. And follow me on Twitter as well at the Club of the Man 93. You may also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. And hopefully, guys, I'll see you guys later for my live stream about Patrick Clark, formerly known as the Velveteen Dream, and his recent interview. His recent interview with Chris Van Vliet and his apology video he posted on Twitter at the beginning of the year. We're talking about all that and where I stand with Patrick Clark. Until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!